Herzlich willkommen hier in Mexiko, Tulum, in einem sehr speziellen Ort mit sehr speziellen Menschen, weil hier hatte ich das Privileg, Gurmukh und Guru Shabad, eine Ikonen der Kundalini Yoga Szene zu interviewen in einem Gespräch. Wir haben gesprochen über Kundalini Yoga, aber auch über Manifestation, über wie das Leben so fließt, wie man in den eigenen Flow kommt. Und es war ein sehr schönes Gespräch, ein entspanntes Gespräch, und ich lade dich dazu ein, dem zuzuhören, zu lauschen, nicht nur mit den Ohren, sondern auch mit deinem Herzen. Ganz viel Spaß dabei. Thank you so much for being here, for taking the time and for sharing the wisdom. I'm very much looking forward to having a chat with you to talk a little bit about what Kundalini really makes so unique and why it is so special and important at this day and age for the human race and for lifting up the consciousness. So I know it has played a huge role into both of your lives, and you've given it to many other people as a gift. To start, maybe just a question, how did it find into your life, just the Kundalini experience, so to say?
Well, I like that word, it found me. I didn't find it, which I find out in life is the way to go. Let everything open up when the timing is right. My timing was right. I was 26, and the timing of my destiny was marked that I should experience this technology, this science, and that I did. One class just said, thank you, God. Last 53 years.
For you?
Pretty much the same, except that I had started a different practice, a Zen practice or a Buddhist practice, and then I met Yogi Bhajan, and same thing. After one white tantric, it spoke to me, and I said, this is the path I should follow, and he said to me, come with me, I'll give you what you're looking for, and he did. So
beautiful. And it found you, as you said. And what is it that is so unique about it? Because there are so many yogic forms. I've tried many different forms.
That's an excellent question. All forms are good, because all forms, like trails, take you to your destiny. I have explored and done a lot of different schools of yoga, never in certification, but just in love and interest, all the way from India to Santa Monica, California. So I understand all the yogis, I think, pretty well, and they're all conducive to changing a person's life. There's a difference in Kundalini. I can't exactly explain it. I would just say you just have to try it, because people have tried to explain it for years and years in a scientific way, in a religious way, in a breath way, but the only way you can know it is to do it. I got my first experience when I was age 26, and I just said, this is it. Even though I have brought in from dance to martial arts to other schools of yoga, this is my direction, but all can lead to that. Does that make sense?
It makes totally sense. And I believe in it has been my experience as well, that there's so many different styles to elevate one's consciousness, and the one that finds you, that resonates the most in a certain period of your life.
Period of life, yeah, that's what it is.
That's very important. And I know it's a rather general question, but how can one derive the most benefit from the practice?
I'll let him explain that.
Practice consistently every day. Because what happens is it changes the chemical makeup of your bloodstream, because Kundalini Yoga, its main focus is the glandular system. And the glandular system is controlling all psychic abilities. Not that that's the goal, but it's part of the journey. And that awakening of this third eye, the balancing of the chakras, it's all being run by chemicals. And those chemicals are coming off the glandular system. So what happens is you establish a different balance within your blood of an equilibrium with, I mean, there are literally known over 500 chemicals coming off the glandular system. And it's very easy to rearrange that balance. And all that Kundalini Yoga was a science over thousands of years of how to rearrange that balance in order to be the best person you could be and to be the most deeply spiritual that you could be.
You see why I brought him along? Because he can explain so much stuff that I can only feel. And that's really what it's all about. You know, you come from the mind, you come from the body. It doesn't matter if you arrive home at your own consciousness. I could say one more thing. Kundalini Yoga seems to be the fast track. Am I with you? It seems to, I have people come who have been 15 years as Hatha teachers, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. And they come up after class and say, oh my God, I never felt this in the 15 years that I've been teaching and doing Hatha, which is fine because they weren't supposed to. So it's like when you get it, you get it. And we always say spirituality cannot be taught, it has to be caught. Caught.
Yeah.
You have to just
I
bingo.
say one other thing too is on a simple mathematical reality, the depth and the breadth of the teachings of Kundalini Yoga as given by Yogi Bhajan to the Western world in this time and space, there is no library that even comes close. Nobody else has the depth of the teachings over thousands and thousands, literally, of kriyas, pranayamic knowledge. It doesn't exist anywhere. It doesn't even exist in India. So there's your difference right there.
Yeah.
There's something there for everybody on this planet.
Now, as you know now, I'm married to a Kundalini Yoga teacher.
Yes, I can see her straight across, munching her breakfast.
And when we got to meet each other and first practice yoga, Kundalini Yoga together, actually, she didn't want to take me as her student because she said it's not the ideal way to do it. She said there are about 6,000, I think, different ways of doing it, of combinations of, and her teacher never taught the same lesson once, because the group is different, time is different, stars are different. So in this vast diversity of the Kundalini space, so to say, how can one find the kriya that fits fits oneself?
The beauty of Kundalini is it makes you intuitive. You just don't take a bunch of books and open them up randomly. You'll be at the exact perfect thing you should be practicing now. Or you'll be going to classes and your inner voice will say, I need to do that. I need to do that meditation for 40 days or 120 days or 1,000 days, you know? I mean, her practice, my practice is 50 something years, 40 something years. It's not the same today as it was back then.
But he does a different, like, how do I pick up a class I want to bring to, like, this morning's class? It's like when you're going to cook, if you love to cook, it's like the combinations, or it's like a dance, it's the movement, it's your house, it's the beauty of the movement. And so and the stars and where the sun and the moon are at, you put it all together, and then you're just pretty much told what to teach. I'll open the manuals and I start seeing if this would go good with this. Like this morning, it was 2 hours, but there was one kriya that I wanted to do, but I didn't have time. But by the time we got to it, it didn't seem right anyway. So I teach exactly, but the combination of the kriyas is like a dance. Yeah.
I say it's a recipe.
It's a recipe.
You're the cook. You have to have a certain, and you can't change the chocolate cake recipe. You can't change the kriya, but you can put the chocolate cake with a pasta. You know, so you can put this kriya with that kriya, and that's the real art. That's
But it's
the
even more than
intuitive
that.
art.
It's like he decided last night to make a chocolate cake in his own style. So it's like all the ingredients of that chocolate cake was like almost pulled down from his whatever he gets his information from. He doesn't like follow recipes or anything. So you've got the chocolate and you've got all of these ingredients. But it's the combination, but you don't like put pig fat instead of chocolate. You know what I'm saying? You stick to like the kriyas, but how you put them together. It's like magic, really. And sometimes when I finish a class, I know it's good. I know it's a good class. You just have that feeling. And then I always say, oh, I'm going to do this again. I never do the same thing again, though, because I don't write them down.
For me, that sounds so symbolic or metaphorically for life itself. There's so many options, right? And how you pick them, at what time, and how much you go into it, and really determines.
Yeah. I mean, who would have thought 2 years ago we'd be sitting here buying a house and living in Tulum? Who ever thought? That's how magical the life is.
Now, there seems to be a gap between an experience and the realization what that experience holds for one's life. Like for us to realize why that happened.
How old are you?
What would you guess?
I could say you're 24 or 40. I can't tell.
I'm 26.
The questions you're asking are kind of funny.
I know there has not been so much time passing. Probably for me, for dramatic or for very important life happenings. But what my question was aiming at is, it seems that we're suffering within that gap, not being able to see why it happened. And to me, it seems like that Kundalini Yoga and other techniques kind of close that gap quicker, so we can see that.
So you see it, but you don't have to intellectually understand it. And you can say thank you to it. You don't seem to me like you've had a really heavy-duty life.
That's really...
You have a mom and a dad? And you grew up in Switzerland? What city? We know Switzerland real well.
In Basel.
Nice and pretty. Yeah. I'm going to interview you a second. Why did you...
No, this will go on for 2 hours if you do that.
I'm okay.
Oh, you're okay, but she's got people over there, and...
Okay.
I'll interview you another time. How long are you going to be here?
For 2 more weeks.
Okay, we'll just sit down and have lunch and talk about you. Right now, we have to talk about what's the next question.
So, now, a lot of people approach the spiritual path in a way that their mind is conditioned, which oftentimes is achieving more and more. So when it comes to Kundalini, they hear about Kundalini awakening, and that's what they're aiming at. Would you recommend that being a good, suitable goal, or?
No.
No, I'll tell you.
It's an unfolding, an awareness.
Can I tell them the story? Well, when I started out, like maybe I was a year into it, we lived in an ashram in Tucson, Arizona. I was 26, and we decided we were going to get enlightened. All the students, we were living in an ashram. What did we know? And someone would say, well, we were doing Kundalini Yoga every morning, get up at 2 in the morning, and serving, doing seva, just the whole Western yogic life, the best that we could in an ashram. And we would just say, oh, I think I'll be enlightened in 4 years. And somebody would say in 6 years. It was like we had no idea. And so this whole idea of doing yoga to get somewhere, when I look back, we were like so ridiculous. We used to spin so fast that we would pass out. But luckily, it was carpeted floor. And we just fall on the floor. And that to us was like, oh my God, am I enlightened? Always talking about raising our Kundalini and all this stuff. It was so funny. And now it's like, I don't think of any of that stuff. It's like you just do it because it's like, are you hungry? Do you have to go to the bathroom? Or are you going to get dressed to go? It's part of our life. It's not like something that's way over here. So you don't think about raising my consciousness and doing this. You just live. That makes sense. Kundalini Yoga is a householder's yoga. It's a way of life.
Yeah, it's a way of life. You have to practice every day. You know, like I said in the beginning, it changes the chemical balances, it changes your perception and your reality. I mean, enlightenment is just a chemical thing. That's all it is. It's not like something spiritual. It's all like, it's a sales job that's been done on humanity to entrap you. No different than religion. You know, the whole yogic thing is an entrapment. If you like get sucked into it with the Western thinking of Christianity or Judaism, all that stuff.
We met a lady.
It's so deeply ingrained. If you grew up in Western society, it's a trap.
Okay, there was a lady last summer. We went to Mayaland, which is an hour and a half from here in Chichen Itza. You should try to go there, to the pyramids. There was a woman there. She was 97, and she was from Peru. She hadn't been down to see the human race. She was way up in the mountains above Peru. Now, I don't know what this lady did, but she was, talk about going somewhere. She was there. You know, like, what are you going towards consciousness? And I don't know what she did, but she would just sit there with this little bolo hat on.
She did ceremony.
And she did ceremony. But she was...
sequencing.
But when it came to moving, she would walk, she would move. We collected all these pods out of a tree. And it's like, did she know Kundalini Yoga? Did she know Hatha Yoga? She didn't even know how to speak Spanish. She had her own language going on up there. And now where'd she get all that from? It's called consciousness. How does it come? That's God's business, not yours.
Well, it comes because she practiced every day.
Yeah, but she having a discussion, I'm going to get enlightened, or I'm going to raise my Kundalini.
She never even heard of the word.
Mm-hmm.
You said it can be like a trap, and in the spiritual realm, there are a lot of. It seems like there are a lot of people that, from one mask, they switch to the spiritual mask. Like, now I'm spiritual, now I do this and this, and now I'm in a certain way a bit more hidden, still above other people. Like, how to deal with this?
Very subtle these days. When I was a hippie in the 60s, we were hippies. And there were the straight people. And there was nothing in between, like hippie, long hair, every single thing, and Wall Street. Nowadays, it's a merge. And without an intuitive self, you won't know who's who. Does that make sense? You have a discerning mind.
Yeah, but if you haven't had a practice for long enough, you don't really have a very intuitive mind. Mm-hmm. And that's why you need a practice that you keep doing day after day after day, and slowly you start to awaken that sense, and you know who's for real and who's not for real. You can, at our point in this journey, we can smell ego 9 million miles away. But it can be walking across from over there, and I can see the ego written all over. And not that ego's bad. It's just a certain place in the journey where you haven't realized you're not the doer. There's nothing to achieve. You know, especially here in Tulum, there's so many guys trying to establish their identity as being healers, as being spiritual shamans, and this and that and the other thing. And who cares? Just share what you know.
Yeah, but you know what happens though? You stay here long enough, the mass egos, they go, go, go. It's always new people that want to establish what they do or they have to make a living. But as you stay here longer, we know people who have lived here for 30 years, 20 years. This place does something really good to you. It takes you don't have to keep defending yourself or identifying with something. And you just watch people, and I watch people, myself included, like come, and then every time I see him 3-4 months later or something, just a little more. And the classes are getting bigger and bigger. People love Kundalini Yoga down there. It helps to set them free. They came for freedom. They're gathering tools. It's amazing how people have taken such, for me, really brave steps. Like sold their house in Germany and brought their kids here. Not with like a set way to make a living or anything, but they just do it and good things happen.
Now you said it, a lot of people want to form the identity of a healer or a spiritual person. And to me, and I've met quite many, so to say, spiritual teachers and gurus and healers along my way already. And what seemed now, after these years, obvious to me is like the one thing that really makes them special is like their authenticity. And what I've now come to realize also over the years is what this really means is like huge. It's like the divine expression in every moment, which for me was the development of becoming the most authentic version of myself, whatever that means. And then I was like, I create abundance when I'm authentic, and now I'm more like, even that's from the ego. I think it's more like it creates abundance to me when I'm just being me. When I'm just being me. But why is it so hard to just be oneself?
The whole lifetime to find out who you are.
Yeah, your whole, especially
Jesus, you got a lot of questions at 26 years old.
Tiny has been otherwise. You have to look at the dynamics of Western education and Western religion. They don't create freedom. They were never designed to create freedom. They're designed to make you part of a sociological experiment that humanity is attempting at this time and space. And some of us have been through this experiment lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and that's why you came to a Kundalini class, that's why you met her, that's why I met her, that's why we met Yogi Bhajan, that's why we practice Kundalini, because we have been on this journey for many, many, many lifetimes. And this lifetime we were given the tools early on of how to not get bound into a system that doesn't allow you freedom and doesn't allow you a satisfaction and a peace in life. It's not designed to, because it has to keep you trapped in your emotions. As long as you're trapped in your emotions, it's very easy to use fear to manipulate the mass society. So,
what's your next question? I have to go to the bathroom. So give him a question that's kind of more, what are those
mental
questions? Mental. And I'll be back very shortly.
Sure.
Can you hold this up? These chairs are so heavy.
don't you go out there where there's lots of room. So you find the path that can take you out of that. And then what is there to do? okay, I'm not entrapped in the system anymore. So what? So either I must, like Yogi Bhajan said, my teacher taught me and I must turn around and teach those behind me. It's the same for us. Someone taught us, someone shared with us, we have to turn around and share it. That's the only value in life, is sharing what you have, what your experience is. Everything else is more entrapment into the system.
And how has been your experience in becoming a teacher? And a lot of projection happens there as well, right? You're the teacher, they're the students.
That depends on you and your journey and where you're at in the journey, you know. I don't have any projection because I'm into my journey and I don't care what other people think about me. So I'm not trying to make someone appreciate me. I don't care if they appreciate me or not. I want to share teachings. The teachings speak for themselves. It has nothing to do with me. And I don't care if there's 5 people, 2 people, 50 people. It doesn't matter.
Beautiful.
That's a journey too. I can't say when I was 30 years old that I felt that way. Yeah. But at this point, that's the way I feel.
And how would you describe the path of surrender?
By thy will. You have to know there's a bigger force than you. And to quote what one of my favorite sayings that Yogi Bhajan said was, there's 2 kinds of people in the world. Those who think they have to go get it and those who wait for it to come to them.
I think that's very interesting because there seems to be like a balance of doing physical action and being attracting.
Well, opportunity is an energy. You attract the opportunity, then you act upon it. And people who like smoke tons of pot, all the opportunities keep coming and their creativity is like this, but they rarely execute much because their minds are all over the place and they can't keep the focus.
When it comes to the process of manifestation, what does that mean to you?
Well, I'm a double Aries, so I just start. And if it's meant to work out, it works out. If it's not meant to work out, sometimes you pick up an opportunity that, it wasn't supposed to happen.
Now, the law of attraction, it's almost a law that probably almost everybody that is on a spiritual path knows, but it seems like it does not really work out that well for a lot of people. Why do you think that is?
Because they have too many subconscious agendas that are stopping it. People are read the mind book. The mind is so complex, it's insanity. It's the definition of insanity is human mind. 84 aspects within one mind, every thought processed through 84 possible outcomes. Every single thought of 1,000 per blink of the eye. You have to, this goes back to surrender, okay? You have to understand in your own heart, in your own perception, in your own feeling, that there is a humongous electromagnetic field called the universe and beyond. As Guru Nanak said, worlds upon worlds, realms upon realms, it is endless. This endlessness, you and I, we're just tiny little magnetic blips running around in it. But we were given this mind that can develop this humongous identity we call ego that thinks it's controlling anything. It's not controlling anything. It's merely it's like a leaf that comes off of a tree into the middle of the Rhine River. What chance does that leaf have to go against the flow of the water of the river? None. Neither do we, really, but we think we do. And that creates, that thinking that we do takes us out of the flow, and out of the flow, things don't manifest. Opportunity doesn't come. Prosperity doesn't come. People make prosperity come. You know, Elon Musk and the rest, they make prosperity come, but it's temporary, and there's no satisfaction in it.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that view. Because I think the whole realm of the manifestation also has a lot of things attached to it in this space. Let me just wait 1 second to the beautiful part.
Sure, there's a drop off.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a wooden floor under
Okay,
there.
so how far did you get?
We're talking about manifestation and opportunities.
So I think we're slowly coming to an end because I don't want to take too much of your time at this time. As you said, we just talked about manifestation and what manifestation is to him. I would love to hear a couple of words from you. What process of manifestation, how you would describe that?
That's a great word. I love manifestation. For me, at this point, turning 80 next month, with a big birthday party here, manifestation to me is when you are in joy, like the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu says. Happiness comes and goes. It's like the weather. Happy today, not happy tomorrow. I'm happy because I'm with her, and now I'm not happy. That's all just like waves. Joy is the deep. No matter what happens, you still live in that place of joy that can only be found inside. And to me, that's manifestation.
Beautiful. I love the different answers.
That's why we're good together. Aries, double fire, earth, and I'm Pisces, water, blah, blah, blah. So that's why we've been married for 40 years.
And why would you think that the law of attraction seems to not work so well for many people? They think they want this, they want this, they want this, and then they get something else. Why do they get something else?
Because that's their destiny. Their mental is what you want. I want to marry by the time I'm 32 and have a child and own a house and put a fence around it, 2 dogs. You know, it's just like that's what the fantasy tells you. Nowadays, people have insane fantasies from watching that box too long. Kundalini Yoga can take you back to me for what's really real. Yeah. Anyway, that's manifestation.
I think this is a beautiful ending as well to the question what is really real, and what is the realest to me is the experience I'm having every moment, and I really enjoyed the experience that I just had with you. So thank you very much for sharing that wisdom. Is there anything else you would like to share at the end of this little talk?
Well, I would like to just welcome you to Tulum, to live in her grace and have so much fun the next couple weeks. Do everything you can and meet as many people. It's a pretty magical place. Everyone has a story of how they got here and why they're staying. It's a magical time. Will it last forever? I don't know. But right now, it's in the middle of a beautiful vortex of like people coming together. It's a blessing. Thank you, Shabad.